criticizing the way Joshua Fabia had been handling his career. Then maybe the weirdest video of them all would emerge after Diego Sanchez's UFC release, when training footage showing Diego hanging upside down and being used as a punch bag by Joshua Fabia was released by none other than Joshua Fabia. This was the exact same guy who wanted to sue the UFC for giving Diego Sanchez CTE. Diego Sanchez had been turned into the biggest laughingstock in the sport and was showing no signs of turning his back on the man, destroying his career and reputation. But there was a shocking twist. When a week after the release of the Punching Bag Diego video, Diego announced that he had parted company with Joshua Fabia with immediate effect. This was great news for the friends and fans of Diego Sanchez, but if you thought that this breakup was going to be smooth sailing, then you haven't been paying attention, because it got messy fast. Considering that Joshua Fabia had coached Diego to the worst performances of his career, cost Diego his UFC contract, ruined Diego's public image, and alienated him from friends and family, you might assume that if anyone would be bitter about their time working together, then it would be Diego Sanchez. But actually, it was the complete opposite. In the immediate aftermath of the split, Diego Sanchez refused to trash his former friend, coach, manager, mentor, spiritual guru, and OnlyFans manager. Yeah, that happened, by the way. Diego was repeatedly asked to discuss his time with Fabia, but took the high road and said very little on the matter, other than to express his wish to move on and continue his career. Fabia, however, did not take the breakup with the same grace as Diego, even though he was the one completely at fault. His first move was to pull the classic "she didn't dump me, I dumped her" tactic, claiming he'd been the one to drop Diego. He then questioned Diego's character, claiming he saw red flags from the minute they met. This in itself was disrespectful, given Diego had placed complete and total faith in Joshua Fabia for awful results. But Fabia wasn't done there. Oh no, not by a long shot. Fabia's next move was to bring up Diego's financial issues and addiction problems to score points for himself as some kind of savior, before he then mocked Diego Sanchez for allegedly being in special education as a kid. Next, Fabia brought up the Chiesa fight and made the extremely damaging and slanderous claim that Diego Sanchez had been told by the commission to throw the fight and lose on purpose. To accuse a competitor like Diego, who'd given so much to the sport, of losing on purpose was a serious insult. Now, if someone betrayed and tarnished my name like this after they screwed me over, I'd be throwing back all kinds of venom at them. But Diego, again, surprisingly took the high road and refused to come back with criticism, instead focusing on trying to forge a road back to fighting without the creep in his corner. It was very honourable of him and not something that I could have done, especially considering what Fabia had cost him. The damage done to Diego's credibility made it hard for him to bounce back with a promotion like Bellator or ONE FC, but he did eventually make his return to the cage with Khabib's promotion, Eagle FC, where he fought against Kevin Lee. Diego would lose a rather one-sided fight, despite injuring Lee's leg early in the fight. But in fairness to Diego, Kevin Lee is fairly young, pretty good, and he's back in the UFC now, so it's not an awful loss, all things considered, given Diego is in his 40s. Diego Sanchez has also recently made his bare-knuckle boxing debut in 2023, where he unfortunately lost via doctor stoppage in the 4th round to Austin Trout. Aged 41, I hope Diego decides to hang up the gloves for good soon, as he has taken a serious amount of damage in his legendary career. But he does love fighting, so it wouldn't surprise me if he continues for as long as he possibly can, which in MMA can be a very, 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 very long time. While Diego refused to trash Fabia in the immediate aftermath of their breakup, he did eventually open up on the topic a bit and bashed Fabia, accusing him of only doing what was best for him and sabotaging Diego's UFC career in the process.
Conspiracy with Joshua Fabia, like it's the most craziest ever. Like, no UFC career has ever ended the way my UFC career ended, and it is what it is. Tough. That's Joshua Fabia, and with the medicals and just pushing all the wrong buttons at the UFC, you know, working his ass off to do whatever was best for his intentions.
Diego Sanchez has also mentioned that he has repaired his relationship with Dana White. Now he is free of Fabia, and there is a lot of mutual respect between the two, with Diego Sanchez a certainty to end up in the UFC Hall of Fame.
And me and Dana, you know, we've been talking. We're cool. We mended, you know. Dana told me, I got nothing but love and respect for you, Diego Sanchez. And that's, you know, so in the future, you know, I'd like to meet up with Dana and, you know, give him a handshake and tell him thank you for everything that the UFC did for me, giving me all these great opportunities.
Even with the bad things Diego Sanchez has mentioned about Fabia, he is still complimentary to him in many ways, which is kind of worrying. He describes Fabia as a badass trainer who taught him a lot.
People can talk about Fabia all day, but man, that was a badass trainer, man. And I learned a lot from him, man.
And unfortunately, it doesn't seem like he's seen through all of Fabia's BS, as he still believes in the death truck, for example, and even believes in Fabia potentially being a contract killer. But irregardless, Diego Sanchez is completely free of Joshua Fabia, and while his UFC career is over, he is still cashing checks and fighting to this day, and hopefully he will live a long, healthy, and happy life even after he's done fighting. For Joshua Fabia, he is thankfully largely faded back into obscurity, but there are interviews out there on YouTube of him discussing his time in the UFC and his life philosophy. But to be honest, listening to this guy talk is so painful that I can't bring myself to sit through an entire 90-minute interview of him rambling, even on 2x speed, so apologies for that. Joshua Fabia's time in the UFC will go down in history as one of, if not the weirdest moments of modern mixed martial arts, without a shadow of a doubt. The end. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like to help the channel.
Oh, what the fuck?
Oh, shit.
Oh, god damn it.
Oh, sorry about that, guys. I was just finishing up my daily allotted time where I'm allowed to say bad words. Wait, guys, sorry. Yeah? Right.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Guys, oh my god, we have not done this in a while. But I now present to you the, what is it? January 20th, 2025 Person of the Day.
Got it. It's
Right?
It's
Go ahead.
that's wild. And would you say a big part
You know
of
what?
it is the language?
I empathize with Patty B there. I do that all the time. Yeah, you know what? It's what is it? It's, I forgot what I was talking about.
How many times did just you and Michael have dinner in Chicago? Chicago has a lot of great. Scotty, stop it. Scotty, stop it.
Leave him alone, man. Give him a break.
You and Michael never had dinner together one-on-one?
No.
Hey, shut up, Patrick. Leave him alone. Oh, god damn it. Great. PBD, that's this guy.
Value tamed.
You got Scottie Pippen. Ooh, you got Scotty. Oh, what the hell has he got there? You got some hats you're peddling? What do those hats say on there? They say,
I'm a perfectly stable individual.
okay, I'll take 4 of them.
Oh my God.
Okay, PBD's fans have been turning on him lately.
Oh my God.
See what they got to say about this goddamn huge huge get of an interview here. For the love of God, can we have an interview with Pippen without talking about Michael Jordan? Hey.
Oh my God.
There you go.
I think it's somewhat disrespectful to bring someone on your podcast to ask questions about someone else. Hey, props to Pippen for not walking out of this interview. Okay. I love PBD. He's one of my favorite YouTube channels, and he is like a terrible interviewer. He is like the worst interviewer of all time. But I like this one because he just keeps hammering away at poor old Scottie Pippen. You could just see Scottie Pippen like check out of this interview. He's like, why were you and Michael Jordan not best friends? I don't know, we just weren't. Why not? I don't know, PBD. Why? Even though Scottie Pippen has been like peddling crypto scams, I believe. This interview made me feel really sorry for him because it's like this guy for the past 35 or whatever years, his whole life has been like, hey, Michael Jordan. You knew him, right? And he's like, yep. And then he walks like 15 feet. Michael Jordan.
That was a guy from basketball.
Scottie Pippen is like, yep. That's like his whole life for the past 35 years. And now he's got to go on PBD and get more of it.
Boom, boom, boom.
Okay, so there we go. Congratulations to the winner of Person of the Day.
Oh my God.
Leave Scottie Pippen alone. Okay? Stop saying Michael Jordan. Stop yelling Michael Jordan in his face. Ask him anything else. Ask him about anything else. What's your favorite kind of candy? The Shack gummies? You like those? Anything. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
The sheer size of TikTok and its susceptibility to foreign adversary control,
Right.
together with the vast swaths of sensitive data the platform collects, poses a national security concern. Full stop.
Hey,
It's
shut up,
not
man.
just that, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.
It is the algorithm.
Oh my
They
God.
don't show this garbage to their kids.
Right.
If even 1% of our younger generation are being exposed to psychotic imagery and nonsense ideas, it is going to have a negative impact on this country in the future to the
Okay.
benefit of our adversaries.
Okay, I'm gonna unsubscribe
Our
from this channel too.
platforms
Ben.
are bad
Okay.
enough with this stuff. We don't
Right.
need TikTok doing the same thing.
Exactly.
Under the
man.
terms of the law.
Oh my God, this is my second favorite YouTube channel.
After PVD, of course.
Oh my God.
How many views? 100,000 on this. I gotta hear the last part again. What does this guy say?
Impact on this country in the future to the benefit of our adversaries.
Right.
Our own platforms are bad enough with this stuff. We don't need TikTok doing the same thing.
Why not ban them then? Why not ban your little ass? Oh, I don't like the stuff that, what's this guy's name? Tim. I don't like the stuff his website is saying. Ban. Ban. Give it one of these.
Boom.
Yeah, I agree with him, man. Ban his ass.
Oh, wow, fascinating.
This is probably the funniest, kind of level of this TikTok thing. Okay, here's an interesting video. What is this? It's from 5 years ago. It's the previous owners of TikTok on Joe Rogan with Tim Pool. 10 million views. 10 million views on this. This is kind of funny performance art, like a 5-year-long piece of performance art or something. Because in this video that has 10 million views, they talk for 3.5 hours. 3.5 hours, Jesus.
Oh my God.
That's what we call the 2x zone. If there's a 3.5x, it might fall into that category. But they go on and blah, 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 blah. But they go on and on. Oh, what are all the details of censorship on Twitter? How does that work? You cannot silence the voices of people on Twitter, 3.5 hours of this. And then there's like 5 years of videos where it's like, Twitter used to ban people and censor people. We cannot do that. So you're doing that for 5 years, and then you upload a video. Hey, there's things I don't really like on TikTok. Ban it, and ban the entire platform.
It'll piss a lot of people off, but I'm excited for it. Young people are addicted to these short-form platforms, and I think it is good and healthy to force them off. I gotta be completely honest.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta be completely honest that you forgot what you've been saying for the past half decade? Okay, what the hell does this say right here? Let me zoom in on this and let me zoom so far in that it forces me to say,
Show me the proof, dumbass.
Biden and Dems suddenly realize TikTok ban means TikTok will be banned. That is a funny headline. These idiots are going like this. Oh man, these people are morons. The outgoing president's administration and Democrats in Congress now want to keep the platform alive that they voted to ban. Okay.
Oh, amazing work.
Amazing work for the people here. Look at this guy. Look at this guy here. Oh, great.
Doing a great job.
Okay, what the hell does this crap right here say? I look at this paragraph right here and I say, President Joe Biden appears to be backpedaling on the TikTok ban he signed last year. Well, he probably forgot about it. That is a funny sentence. He appears to be backpedaling on a thing he did last year. It's like a little kid or something. His administration is now saying it won't enforce the law that will boot the popular platform from app stores, which is scheduled to begin Sunday. Oh, this is pretty funny. That's pretty funny right here. Let's check this out. Check this out right here. Here we go.
And as of today, TikTok is back.
Right.
Okay. So, I did a little TikTok thing. We have a guy, TikTok Jack. He's a young kid,
Okay.
21 years old. And we hired this guy, and I went on TikTok. Can you believe what I'll do to win an election? And
Dancing around or
I went
what?
on TikTok. So I said, I'll approve. Let the United States of America own 50% of TikTok. I'm approving on behalf of the United States.
Okay, don't quite get
So they'll
that.
have a
Okay.
partner, the United
Okay, that's pretty good, the TikTok thing's falling apart.
TikTok thing's falling apart.
Okay, how about this? Split it down the middle. Split what down the middle? Wait, I thought this was like a security concern or something.
Split it down the middle.
50-50.
Let us wet our beaks a little bit.
Wait, what? What is that? What does that have to do with the whole data thing? Okay. They've kind of like everybody has forgotten. They've been doing this Cold War, you know, China's trying to get. This is like every idiot on like every news channel and everybody in the government. They're like, think about TikTok. I'm trying to get you. Hey, the Chinese guy right behind you right now. Trying to bite you. And now they've just like completely forgotten about that. Like 180. The Chinese are getting all our data through TikTok. And they can see where we are. They know when we're asleep. This is what TikTok does. I'm gonna finally spill it. People dance around this a lot. This is what they do with TikTok.
Generally speaking,
They can tell when people stop using it. They're like, oh, they're asleep now. This is how they track, you know, oh, they're asleep now. Then they come and they bite you. Bite, dance. You know, all this Cold War crap. This fraudulent nonsense.
they're getting our data. They're getting our data.
You know, then they couldn't get them to sell. They were like, no, we're not gonna sell it. Okay, we could wait. They're stealing all our data to get us, but we could wait. Take your time, you know? Oh, Theo covered this. Oh,
This is a human man.
it is? Prove it, man.
Show me the proof, dumbass.
Okay, well, now I'm just in a hall of mirrors of drops. Okay, what does Theo have to say about this TikTok crap?
Frank McCourt's Project
Who?
Liberty confirmed making a formal offer to ByteDance, the platform's Chinese parent company, to buy the social media giant's American assets. And he was going to do it in conjunction with one of the guys from
Right? You got it?
Sharks. Good evening, Sharks, whatever that show is. Shark Dance or whatever.
Come on.
Boy, no, there's a woman.
Shark Tank?
Shark Tank.
There you go. Okay.
Shark
There you go. There you go. Shark Boy or Shark Dance.
This is a human man.
The hell does this say in the comments here? You know all the other social media companies are pushing for a TikTok ban behind the scenes. It's all about that. They should ban Facebook as well. Hey, man.
Take it back, bro.
What? Ooh, what's this? This is funny right here.
You're about to be value-tamed. Value-tamed.
I saw some more recent video of Valuetainment where they're like, look, I don't know, should TikTok be banned? I don't really know what's going on. But he's kind of been like, forever. This is 2 years old. He's like, we got to ban TikTok right now. There's another odd part in this video from 2 years ago. What is it called? How TikTok is destroying America. How TikTok is destroying America and why it needs to be banned. Okay, couldn't be more clear than that.
What's 260 times 1,000?
100.
10 is 2.6 million.
400.
Times 100 is 26 million.
26
times 1,000 is
million.
260 million followers. I don't have 260 million followers on Instagram. The numbers don't make sense. Let me continue. Michael Burry, 932 versus 12,900. Jewish Money, 5.9 million versus 12,900.
Okay.
Rolex, 3.1 million versus 16,000.
What was the other one? What was the other one? I love this video because the title is How TikTok is Destroying America and Why It Needs to Be Banned. And PBD's main case here is my numbers aren't as good as on TikTok. Boom. Okay? My numbers aren't as
Value-tamed.
on TikTok. He's like, look, my video on Rolex did amazing on Instagram, but it sucked on TikTok. Ban. My video on Jewish Money did amazing on Instagram. Right. Wait, your video on what? What are you doing? What are you uploading to the internet?
We're going to shut it down.
Right.
The rumor is TikTok will direct all American users to a screen that just says, we have been shut down, blame your government.
Okay.
And you know what? It'll piss a lot of people off, but I'm excited for it.
Right.
Young people are addicted to these short form platforms, and I think it is good and healthy to force them off. I got to be completely honest. If the algorithm was healthy and promoting good news and information, I'd support it. But I don't trust what China is doing, a data collection, and the message they're sending to young people, largely woke garbage.
Right.
Trump only reversed course because they finally started allowing certain mega influencers.
Okay.
Meanwhile, you go to X and you can see a wave of prominent Trump supporting personalities saying they were banned from the platform for no reason.
Okay.
So what does it look like?
Okay, so ban the media outlets you don't like. Yeah, I don't like that one. Ban it. Yeah, it's good. It's a good idea.
Oh! Many TikTok creators have been telling their fans to find them on competing platforms like YouTube and Meta's Facebook and Instagram.
Never heard of them.
Zuckerberg just came out and said they're removing restrictions. Instagram is available. Imperfect. But guys, Rumble. Use Rumble. You can still do it.
I will.
Imagine if 170 million Americans signed up for Rumble instead.
Okay.
What's the argument?
Yeah.
People are saying, well, you can't get discovered the same way. Yes, you can. If every TikTok user went to Rumble, you'd have no issues.
Amazing.
Let's go. Let's go, baby. Make the change.
Calm your little ass down. Okay, I'm gonna get legal now. You legally have to calm the hell down. This is a funny segment because I'm like, why is he going so hard on this? We gotta ban this thing. I love free speech, but they're doing too much of that on this thing, so ban it. I mean, the guy is a bonked on the head individual, or BHI, but it is like so directly. For the past 5 years, I've been saying, man, if there's even a little bit of censorship on any of these platforms, I'm outraged. Hey, you know what? Ban the whole thing, because there's stuff on there I don't like, you know? So it's already like, what the hell? But the whole thing is so stupid. It's like Trump's like, let's ban it. And then Biden's like, let's ban it. Then they vote, okay, let's ban it. And then probably what happened is TikTok was like, we're not selling. And then public opinion started to shift too. They weren't buying the propaganda. Oh, they're taking our data as much. So now Trump's like, never mind. And Biden's like, never mind. It's fine. But this guy's still sticking with it. He's still like, it's a huge problem. And I think it's because they banned his ass on TikTok. Or he got shadow banned or something. I think it's literally he wants TikTok banned because it's cutting into his numbers. He thinks it might be cutting into his views or something. Last thing on this stupid goddamn TikTok scam.
Oh, the Chinese, they're gonna get us.
There's a Chinese guy right there, you know. China's very scary, so we need to do this for this. Okay, but actually, before the final TikTok clip here, it is funny watching all these like TikTok reports and reading these articles and stuff, just how phoned in all this crap is. You know, Joe Biden and Trump and all these idiots, they're like, it is a serious problem. But, you know, they'll figure it out 50-50, I don't know. No, we won't ban it. I don't know. They're trying to get us or something. What do I have to say? Okay, anyway, this might be the funniest TikTok-related, news clip that I've seen. This is pretty good. Oh, from CBS New York.
New York City is nothing without pizza.
It's really simple. Please sell it to an American. So we don't mind the app as it is.
Exactly.
It's the ownership. We only are worried about the ownership.
Exactly.
And we don't want an adversary to have that.
Right.
It's just too much of a national security risk.
Many users reminded of the fluidity of TikTok's fate.
Pick an answer. Like, pick what you want to do, because it gives it's just gives us anxiety. Like, what's gonna happen?
This girl's so funny. I love this. I love how the news always accidentally gets people's real opinion on TV. Yeah, hey, pick something, you morons.
Hey, idiots. What are you doing?
Can I use the app or not? You shit. This girl is exactly right, by the way. This is what this girl said. I believe they cut this part out. What are you non-contributing corporate money sponge fossils doing? She said, I can't believe she said that. Watch where this goes.
What's gonna happen?
Anxiety is just one of many feelings triggered by social media itself.
Okay, I don't think that's what she was saying. But that's so funny. She's like, hey, morons, are we keeping TikTok or no? Let's make a choice. Totally fair, totally like on the ground, real person perspective. Then they go like right from that into a little segment about that, like the content on social media makes people anxious.
Especially for teens and adolescents whose brains are not fully developed, says psychiatrist Dr. Gail Saltz with New York Presbyterian.
Yeah, totally not relevant to what you asked that girl. Okay.
Exciting and only last a moment, like a thrill. That's engaging.
But CNN and Fox News are not going to bring up the insurance companies that are just going to keep everybody's premiums and still give themselves a bonus.
Right, Bill?
Yes, free Luigi!
To be honest, I'd call it a joke. Bill Burr is a very funny guy. I'm actually a big fan. But as of late, he's just been towing this line, which defends massive corporations.
Okay, yeah, this is going to be a good one. If anybody can square this circle, it's a guy who's got a Temu-type jacket on and a hat. He's got a little hat on. Yeah, the insurance companies, they're ripping everybody off. Free Luigi. Oh, man. Cut back to Tim. Oh, man, this guy loves corporations. He's really defending them all the time.
This is a human man.
That's right. Okay, that's sick, man. Bill Burr going on TV. What did he say?
Free Luigi!
Bill Burr going on TV defending corporations. defending corporations. This is my Bill Burr impression. Bill Burr. I can't do one. Okay, so that's what this guy said. He's like, this guy's a sicko.
This guy's another Boston, Massachusetts sicko.
Going on TV defending corporations. Okay, what is this? This is like 3 minutes later.
This should be enough context for all of you to understand that this guy going on Jimmy Kimmel himself are misleading you. Why? I don't know.
They better not be, or
she spit on them.
That's right. She'll spit on them like this. Jimmy Kimmel and Bill Burr have been misleading me this whole time, those son of a bitches. Okay.
This should be enough context for all of you to understand that this guy going on Jimmy Kimmel himself are misleading you. Why? I don't know. I think Bill Burr doesn't pay attention and is making jokes. But I'm really concerned.
You know, more importantly, can we cover that outlet with something? It's literally, that's like the main focus, like not even you.
Hey, welcome to Outlet Talk. I'm your host, The Outlet.
Plugs with the 3 prongs or plugs with 2? Which one's better? I'm here with a panel of other outlets to okay, I'm not going to keep going with that.
No, I think Bill Burr doesn't pay attention and is making jokes.
Take it back.
I'm really concerned about that Free Luigi comment.
Right.
Why is it a joke to praise a murderer?
Okay.
Well, look, I got to be honest. People don't like insurance companies, and I get it.
Okay.
I really do.
Right.
But this is not an issue.
I got to write this stuff down first. Got to write this stuff down. Why are people praising a guy who killed a cat? Well, it's because they don't like insurance companies. Okay. Could have just skipped all that.
Right. I can't really blame an insurance company for being unable to insure property. It's not like the insurance company said, you know what, we don't want to insure them because it cuts into our profits. They said, we are trying to increase premiums. We are trying to make sure this is...
Oh, sick. Oh, this guy Bill Burr. What did he say again? Oh, this guy Bill Burr, he's out there defending corporations. What a sicko. And then him and his co-host, which is an outlet, a wall plug, him and his co-host Pluggy go on to defend the insurance companies. Okay. Hold on, let me laser focus in on this. What's the guy's name? Ken Klippenstein. Ken Klippenstein, if you're not aware.
This is a human man.
Okay, Tim Pool missed this one here. Government monitoring those with negative, quote unquote, negative views of health insurance companies. Whoa.
Oh my God.
New documents reveal flurry of intelligence activity following Luigi's arrest. If you expressed negative sentiment toward insurance companies on social media following the M word of United Healthcare's CEO last month, the government was watching. Oh man, how did Tim miss this one? He hates the government and corporations. How does this happen?
She spit on them.
But hold on, what's the story?
I don't know. I just found this video.
Let's go back in time a little bit.
Right.
A couple weeks ago, Elon Musk was accused of personally censoring conservatives over their stance on H-1B visas. And so many prominent accounts got their verification and partnership removed. And this one's a bit of a toss-up.
Oh, wow. This is a real amazing story right here.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. This is a big... Oh, wow. This is a really story right here. What is this guy? He's some game streamer. Some gaming streamer is like, Elon Musk hired some Chinese guy to play video games for him. He's lying about his video game skills. And now the same video game guy is like, hey, Elon Musk is censoring me on Twitter now because I'm exposing his gaming frauds. He does control this platform. He could do that. And this guy, Tim, he hates censorship, as he's been talking about for the past half a decade. Let's see what happens.
People in a similar way. I don't know how big of a deal this is.
Right.
But a lot of people are basically saying, once again, Elon has pulled a massive petty move, suspending someone's access to the platform, premium, because he has a personal spat with them. I love it. This is hilarious.
Exactly.
It's bad, don't get me wrong. But imagine where we're at. You know, a couple of years ago.
It's funny. It's bad, but come on. I've been talking about this for 5 years, how this is the end of the world, but it's hilarious, man, because it's the billionaire that I like, right? So anyway, I gotta go do one of these.
You know what? I don't know. Gamers accuse Elon Musk of cheating to level up.
Right.
And so we have this, where's the post from the Quartering? Here we go. The Quartering says it appears Elon Musk has taken Asmongold's check away after he called him out about a video game. He also leaked his DMs. That appears to be true. This is a legendary meltdown, abuse of power, and exactly what the left does.
Right.
Most will be too cowardly to call it out, but this is unacceptable.
Okay.
So over Asmongold's X account, there is no more verification. So it doesn't appear that he did anything that would remove his verification unless he personally did it.
Right.
We don't know for sure.
Okay.
But here we are.
Oh, here we are.
Elon Musk tweeted.
But here we are. The thing I've been talking about that's an outrage for the past 5 years, censorship. Now it's kind of funny, actually, bro. It's actually kind of good in a way, man.
Something like that.
It was kind of. Huh? Now it's kind of. Oh, there we go, guys.
There we go, guys. An absolute fire, another one.
An absolute fire, another one from your boy. Who is he?
It's Bilbo.
That's right, that's me. Got a few live shows coming up. I don't know if they're sold out or not. Got a few live shows coming up in Seattle and Austin, Texas. I'll put links to that in the, what is it called? What's the thing? Description. Happy Monday to all, and to all,
I'm gonna haunt you.
Bye-bye.
Hi, I go by the name LeDron James. What kind of a name is that? Anyway, guys, I have my co-host here with me. It's Pluggy. Pluggy the Wall Outlet. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great, man. Thanks so much for having me. I'm hungry. Can you put some food on a fork and then shove it into my face?
No problem, Pluggy. Here you go. Oh, Pluggy, you son of a bitch. You. Anyway, guys, if you want to help me deal with Pluggy and my new hospital bills, subscribe on Patreon. I love saying it like that. Subscribe on Patreon. You're missing all kinds of episodes every week. Live streams, question and answer shows, all this stuff. And you can become a member for as little as 2 bones every month. 2 bones, geez. Just click the link in the description. All right, then talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Domination. Secure the objective.
On this channel, I've covered some wild MMA fighters, such as Lightning Lee Murray and Charles Crazy Horse Bennett, but I'm not sure that either of them are as truly deranged as the subject of today's video, Vyacheslav Datsik. Datsik is an unremarkable fighter by any respect, but he has carved out a notorious reputation for himself for his wild antics in and out of the ring. These antics include attacking referees, raiding brothels, armed robberies, prison sentences, open neo-Nazism, and a wild escape from a mental institution, to name but a few. This guy's life has been completely extreme from the minute he made his MMA debut to present day, where he remains in the public eye. This video tells the true story of Vyacheslav Datsik, covering all of the crazy twists and turns in the life of one of the most insane men to ever compete in mixed martial arts. I promise you don't want to miss this one. Let's get into the story. The details of Datsik's early life.
Losing B. We've taken control.
Take a look at Jimmy Dore.
Well, I thought while we're circling the drain, rock bottom as a country, guys, this is what Jimmy Dore has sunk into. This is his new low. We know that for a long time he's been battling with guys like Sam Cedar, and then he pretended not to know who Sam Cedar was because he got so humiliated by him. And what's crazy is that Jimmy won't actually debate anybody. He's too afraid to go on their shows. What he does is the sad excuse for humiliating comedy. It is the most divorced dad-coded thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And that's that he takes like young, pretty women from the internet and he tries to like lampoon them and he tries to slander them and make fun of them for having human emotions. And I think it's just a way of getting back at them because women never paid attention to him growing up. But this was just—
Yeah, it's kind of like how it's kind of like how he goes after Kyle Kalinske for being married to Crystal Ball. It's like, that's not really like a dig.
Yeah, bro, have you seen your wife? I'm sorry, but woof. Let's take a look at what he had to say about Emma Vigeland. All right, yeah. And last thing. No, actually, I won't say any more about Jimmy's wife. I'm sorry. You guys take one look at her, and the jokes write themselves.
She's a huge turf. She's a
yeah, dude. I was about to make a joke about there's a reason why she hates trans women. But anyway.
One thing I'll just get a little emotional about is it does, as a woman, feel pretty shitty.
Hey, you know what? Imagine what kind of person you have to be like a 55-year-old man. You're doing your own stand-up comedy act, and what you're doing is you're putting up a 29, 30-year-old woman being emotional about the state of American politics, and you're just putting it up there and laughing
while your bitch life fucking goes in the background.
Are you kidding me? What kind of shameless, morally vacuous, empty person do you have to be in order to, one, laugh at this, think this is funny at all? Imagine spending $45 to go see this crap. There's a reason this guy has had to take such a QAnon-coded pivot, because he doesn't know how to be funny, okay?
Also, like, people play this clip and act like Emma was just like reacting to Kamala Harris losing because she loved Kamala Harris or whatever. Like, Emma Vigeland never would have supported Kamala Harris in a primary. Obviously, she didn't support Kamala Harris in the primary when, Bernie was running that primary and Elizabeth Warren was running that primary and other people who were superior were running in that primary. Of course, no one at the majority report, Emma Vigeland, they did not support Kamala Harris. But what she's sad about is not necessarily just that Kamala Harris lost that election, but that Donald Trump won that election, right? And that so many Americans voted for him despite the fact that he installed 3 Supreme Court justices, which helped to overturn Roe v. Wade, which obviously is a significant women's issue, as cringy as it sounds. Sorry that, that sounds woke or something, but like sometimes words describe things, and yeah, that is a woman's issue, and a lot of people didn't give a fuck about it when they voted for Donald Trump. So yeah, I also feel shitty about that. I mean, I didn't cry on air, but I don't blame anyone that did.
No, what the fuck? And here's the other thing. This is something I've been trying to get better at for a long time. It's one of my New Year's resolutions. It's kind of an uncomfortable thing to talk about, right? But one of the things that I've been talking to Felisa about and trying to engage with in my own life is that, all of these societal elements, they kind of try and keep us from being emotional. There is this weird thing where being emotional is heavily interpreted as weakness. It's something that I've really internalized, even if I didn't want to, right? It's very hard for me to be emotional. It's one of the first times in my life where I'm actually trying to engage on that level. And I admire people who are confident enough in themselves to go on a fucking a show with 1.5 million subscribers and be emotional and say, this is real life. This is how I feel. This does move me. It's something that I have never had the self-assuredness or the confidence to do, but it's not wrong, and it's actually good, and it's healthy, and it's part of what makes us human beings. And I think part of our regression as a society that makes us less and less communal is this idea that you can't be emotional, or that it's somehow like silly, or that you're a loser, or that you're somehow duped if you actually ever cared about any of this. I don't know. It's something that I saw this and it made me really mad, because it kind of flies in the face of everything I've been trying to do better for myself, and I just fucking hate idiot pieces of shit like Jimmy, drunk assholes that want to come after people who have the confidence that they don't have.
Yeah, 100%. No, I totally agree. And also, it's not like it's something that's usually planned. I mean, like the few times that I've teared up on air, it's not like I planned to cry. But sometimes you're talking about something and you find yourself kind of lost in your emotions, and yeah, that's just what happens. But it's not like anything other than a natural reaction. And of course, this is politics we're talking about. This is real world stuff with real world implications. We should be emotionally invested in the stuff we're talking about. If we just detach ourselves, like Jimmy Dore apparently has, to the point where it's all just like this, farce or something, and where nothing really matters other than enriching yourself. Well, yeah, of course you're not going to be emotionally affected by anything that's going on, because again, all you care about is money. You don't actually give a shit about the impacts and the consequences of what you're talking about. Emma Vigeland understands that, yeah, the reason why we're talking about this stuff, the reason why it's important to discuss, is because of the real world implications, and they are sad. Like that's the fact of the matter.
Yeah, I mean, it really does make me sick to my stomach looking at this asshole. Again, I just can't imagine This guy has planned a stand-up comedy night where he goes to a venue. He does a sound check. He looks out at an audience of people who paid money to see him. And he was like, you know what my gag is? My gag is going to be a person who was hosting their show being emotionally moved by something that they experience. Ha ha! Like, go fuck yourself. You're not human. You're a weasel.
And to be fair, it is one thing. Like, I don't really blame people for playing those clips from 2016 of some of the liberals like just screaming and freaking out. Like, remember even the TYT broadcast from that night was pretty funny.
Bro, I was just hysterical that night though.
Oh yeah, for sure. But like, the point I'm making is that this isn't even one of those examples. Emma's just like, she's been pretty understated. She's been pretty, like, she's really just genuinely expressing how she feels. This is not a freak out. This is not a hysterical meltdown. Like I said, I don't blame people for sharing the TYT one from the night Donald Trump won in 2016. That shit was hilarious. No one can deny that.
Oh yeah. Also, I'm sorry for people I offended in the chat. If you're in recovery, I wasn't referencing you. Let's just say that I know a lot of Jimmy's behavior comes with him being a narcissistic, drunk asshole, and I don't have any respect or sympathy for him.
If it's any consolation, I'm sure your 10th booster made you sterile. Okay?
Jimmy's been sterile.
Why did he do that weird laugh at the end of his own joke? Did you hear that?
Oh god. That's because nobody else is gonna laugh and he doesn't want to hear the deafening silence of bombing.
Okay?
Nobody in the audience is laughing. It's all people he paid to be there. His live action peanut gallery.
Imagine doing that after you tell a joke. Like, if people don't know what to do. Like, just in case you forgot, you're supposed to laugh now at my shit fucking joke. He's like doing a laugh track for his own joke. What a disgrace,
fucking humiliating.
Also, some people were saying you were a little bit quiet. Is Zach still quiet? Does he need to be turned up?
Hello, chat, everyone. Let me turn up a little bit just to be sure.
He's been.
I'm waiting the whole time. I've just been unmuted. Honestly, that's the best way to enjoy my commentary. On mute. Yeah, everybody was like, you know what? We're watching his mouth move, and that's enough. You know, that's enough. You know, some people have a face for radio. I have a voice for the mute button.
Okay, well now maybe he's too loud because people are saying it's fine. Either way, yeah. What an idiotic routine. Again, it's totally fair to make fun of like you know, like if I don't know. I can picture there being examples of liberals reacting to Trump in a funny way, where even we could make fun of it, you know, like on some MSNBC show, or like I said, that 2016 Trump compilation. But this wasn't even hysterical or really funny at all. It was just like, yeah, this kind of sucks. Yeah, this. It brings me to tears because this is shitty. Like, that's not funny. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's really not. I mean, I don't think it's funny.
I mean, he literally is doing the decades-old, super tired and overdone bit of I'm drinking liberals' tears. Like, haha, triggered lib, sad. That makes me feel big. It's like no different than being the bully on the playground that pushes a kid over because you're unhappy with your home life and you don't know how to grapple with it. But he hasn't ever grown up. He's still that little pissant, little bastard deep down. And I know that I'm sure he's angry and I'm sure he feels fucked over by the world, but that doesn't mean that you have the right to be a 55-year-old little.
He's a millionaire.
He's a fucking loser is what he is. And he's a small little man in there. And he makes the joke about infertility because he can't have his own little rat bastard children. Hello, dummies.
Yeah, that was such a weird joke to make, as like he doesn't have fucking kids. And I remember on PBD's show, do you remember he actually got like scolded by PBD? He was like, best thing I ever did, have kids. Can't believe you didn't, Jimmy. Like, he was like, 5 kids. I wish I had 6. I wish I had 7. I told my wife, let's have some more, you know? And he's like, I think the #1 mistake you can make as a man is not having kids. You fuck up your whole life. All you care about is yourself if you don't have kids. And Jimmy Dore sitting right across from him, childless. Not that I give a shit. I also plan to never have kids. I'm also a selfish bastard. I don't want to invest in some, you know, children. I want to take care of myself. But, you know, the point is that what a weird joke to make about Emma Vigeland being sterile. Who fucking cares, bro? And yeah, the vaccine doesn't even do that.
Yeah, you know, it's funny too. Jimmy's testes are so small that the reason he doesn't have children is because he can't actually come. He just produces a mild fart sound
out of his dick.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway.
where it says disposition pending? That means the case is open. When the victim was asked if he wanted to press charges, the victim stated yes.
The guy said that they're on there gadooshing me.
Well, we have the answer to what would happen if Brendan Schaub, Andrew Tate, and every juice head on YouTube had a baby. 10 years in prison before. Looks like it might be on the cards again for the gadoosh god. John Bravo's coverage exposes that Wes invited the guy to fight him, put the challenge out himself, and of course made sure it was a 4v1, allegedly using dumbbells and weight belts once the guy's already down, eyes gouged. Then Wes Watson does a few Ronaldos to the head, allegedly.
Prior to that soccer kick, there was 4 soccer kicks, 3 or 4 hard ones to his face while he was already done, and they didn't say it in here.
Then the big scary alpha male claims self-defense. There isn't a jury in hell that will watch that video and think self-defense. Bye-bye, Wes. All good though. Here's Wes giving a review on his past time in the hole.
You know they love to see them buttholes. They want you to wink at them the whole 9. So I gotta show them. They want to see. They only know you by your butthole in there. They see my face and they're like, oh, who are you again? And then I just bend over. I show them the butthole. Oh, Wes Watson, how you doing, bro? What's up? Nice to meet you.
Like he's a baboon or something. It's alpha male activity you wouldn't understand. Dead set though, that is one of the funniest goddamn things. They could make quite the redacted film out of this guy. A man so secure, he has shortened his lifespan as he was very happy with the way he was born and his natural gains, thus going on to attack much smaller men for having an opinion on him. A true secure hero. He will not be lost to time. For a millennia, they will know about Wesley and his 4v1 dog shittery. Others allege online that Gadoosh God's past prison stories are fake, and with how much this guy loses his mind at comments or his subreddit of 6,000 people.
These are the people who make the videos calling studs like me fake alphas. Oh my God!
But yes, Wes is secure in himself, so he's turned the comments off basically everywhere because nobody gets to him. Actually, the comments are hidden, so he scares off less potential $3,000 to $20,000 purchases of his course. Which really, if you need this guy to yell at you for that much or even free, you've got bigger problems. Imagine actually thinking this guy has the answers when he'd be broke if people stopped buying his How to Be an Alpha Male course. 10 out of 10 how his victims don't realize this. The poor bastards must be all young men looking for direction.
And you motherfuckers don't have 20 grand and say it's expensive. And the program doesn't even start it. It starts at 3 grand.
On its surface, it's a positive thing that the few fans that are allowed to comment are apparently improving each area of their life. Hey, good for you, but why do the alpha male viewers need this guy to yell at them for motivation? You can improve your life without Wes Watson content, I promise. And you won't have much of one if your heart explodes or if you're in prison, so watch anyone else. It might stop you from spending $96K a month on rent like Wes does.
Understand how the fuck someone would pay $95,000 a month in rent? So I'm just gonna talk shit.
Obviously, confronting a guy who's known for no 1v1s at his own gym wasn't smart. But just because the guy walked over to Wes on CCTV and started the interaction doesn't mean that he can now be allegedly hit 45 times and hospitalized. Wes tried to post DMs that backed up his self-defense claims because he's a fearless alpha male, of course. There's rumors online that the victim was also special needs, grain of salt of course, but goddamn, this isn't the first recently either. Wes's best friend, Mike Van Wyck, an identical clone you might say, he was very upset as a science-based fitness YouTuber Jeff Nippard made a video discussing Mike's natural status, juice or no juice, in a non-hurtful, science-focused video. So Mike allegedly palmed the popular creator across the gym because words or the truth hurt him deeply.
The little big boy knows he's trying to get under the skin of the monster.
But when somebody actually stands up to him, he's quick to back down.
You threaten me, and then what do when I go to respond? You block me like a...
You can see why Wes and Mike get along. Mike was confronted by men his size and suddenly wasn't a hero anymore. Shocker. The same thing occurred in this clip when a guy starts taunting Wes at the gym.
Stretch your elbows. Stretch your lats out, Wes. Come on. Come on. We know you're tough. Let's go. What's that?
And you know what, Wes? The little bitch pussy, do you know what he did? He went to the owner of the gym and tattletale.
It didn't end with 45 hits to the head, with all my buddies allegedly. Strange. Wonder if that correlates with Wes being seemingly alone.
Tried to go send him a message back, and what happened? He blocked me like a little bitch.
And pull the fuck up. Straight up. Just tell him, stop talking. He gave you the address and the time. Go see if he's there. Because he will be there.
It's bizarre how the Juicies think they're invincible when they're one jog away from the end. Wes then reposted Mike's bot farm coping. All the haters are paid for or not real. It's hilarious now that Penguin Zero Charlie is covering it, who without question is wealthier than Wes and has legitimate points in his video. To claim it's just trolls, it's just the haters after you've caught a serious case on camera. God damn, the delusion runs deep. But Alpha don't care, and that's why he's very angry. There's also this clip where Wes allegedly shows his true self when on a call with a potential client.
Yeah, I was just trying to sign up for some coaching, bro.
You opted in for the business coaching. Are you trying to build a coaching business, or are you just trying to get rich? What are you trying to do?
Shit, I'm trying to do both, really.
Yeah, because on Instagram, I can just video chat you right there. I don't have to fucking, and I can send you stuff. I can see that you got it.
All right, bet, bro. Hey, is Diddy with you?
What's up?
Is Diddy with you?
What'd you say?
Is Diddy there with you?
Another one of these fucking weirdos. In fact, you dumb little
Oh, you a bitch, Wes.
Who would have thought this man's a whole Jim Crow, allegedly as well, and easily trolled by the simplest of questions. Is Diddy with you? It wasn't even personal and somehow it got racist. Very secure behavior. Doesn't stop there though with Wes and client calls. Holy God, how this man figured out how to make verbal abuse profitable.
I feel like I'm having a lot of responses.
Dog, you're not. I wouldn't want to be like you.
Yeah, I get it. The reason I was asking the question was just because I feel like I haven't had a lot of guidance through the whole process. I feel like it was just kind of like,
Yeah, that's what you're going to say now. The other people with the same blueprint did what they did. You did what you did. It's your underlying stink of that you deserve shit.
There's no guidance needed in this $20,000 course. Other people succeeded, you didn't. That's your fault. The logic jumps are truly incredible. You can see every gear working at maximum capacity. If there was ever a case for a chargeback.
I'm trying to be the best example I can be and show others a life to live.
Everything that you're missing is showing up in everything you're saying. I guarantee I go to your page and it's so stupid, bro. In the back of your head, you're thinking about getting signups, dog. You have this entitlement stink on you. You've been waiting to ask why you didn't get your sign up. You get the difference, dog? You get it?
Yeah, I mean, so I lost my card. I had temporary insanity. It's baffling to imagine how many people have given this man thousands of dollars to be juice raged at. The Fresh and Fit show really revealed what this looks like when it plays out in front of a big audience.
Right, if you look in the mirror, would you guys say this motherfucker's proud of who the f he is? This is not what men look like.
Let's let him
What do they
finish
look
his
like?
point.
Shit.
What do they look like? Bald prisoners? They look like?
This is the problem in society.
With a few jabs at the juice or the lack of hair, and the crowd is so far from being on Wesley's side, it's hilarious, bizarre, fascinating something. And apparently it's contagious because the viral video of Morgan Osmond saying this on the plane.
You shut up in here. Bye. You shut film me. I'm Instagram famous. Bum. Shut up.
Well, that's Wes Watson's partner. Must be the nicest couple on this planet. He really is the gift that keeps on giving. The god of the gadoosh. And thank you for watching.
And guess what? I'm a fucking bitch. Whiny, nasally.
Roberts to administer the presidential oath of office.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
That I will faithfully execute.
That I will faithfully execute.
The office of President of the United States.
The office of President of the United States.
And will, to the best of my ability.
And will, to the best of my ability.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
The Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the United States.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
What are we hearing?
Here in D.C. I'm proud to say that Local 2401 officially endorsed today's rally. So I come today not just as a union member, but as a worker and someone who believes deeply in the power of collective action. We gather here because the stakes for working people have never been higher. As we face this new administration, we must confront a grim reality. The policies that they're proposing already are not designed to uplift working families, but to dismantle the very protections and rights that we fought generations to achieve.
Okay, look, before I get started talking about what's been happening, I want to take a minute and just be real with people. I know that this video is going to make certain viewers angry. There's a group of people out there who are just completely incapable of critically evaluating anything to do with Donald Trump, and they just immediately lash out when anyone criticizes him for any reason. It's akin to a cult where the leader of that cult can never be wrong because his followers manufacture explanations for everything that he does without question, and even just saying that right now will piss them off as they smash out some massive and angry comment about how I'm not talking about the real problems, which are Joe Biden and the Democrats, or they just make these weird obfuscated statements about how I'm probably controlled by the feds, or even just incoherent insults like bet you're just another Harris voter, or check the early life section, which is code for I think you're Jewish because I said something they don't like and therefore I must be Jewish, I guess. For real, scroll down and you'll probably see some, purely as a function of the video's title alone, unless I'm massively underestimating that community, which I hope I am. But considering what's happened over the past couple of days and considering where it seems to be going from here, as annoying as that group of viewers tends to be, very few people with the ability to rationally think for themselves want anything to do with that group whatsoever. As annoying as they are, I'm gonna risk having them harass me and make the video anyway, because what I see happening is a complete disgrace to the nation, and it makes me kind of ashamed of where the country is headed. I could laugh, I guess, and I sort of was laughing for a little bit, but it's not really funny. It's just sad. And when I actually sit down and think about the idea of principled values, I have to wonder, what is the point of thinking that way when the highest office in America, and apparently his entire family, are transparently enriching themselves at what seems to be the direct expense of their most loyal followers? And those followers are too stupid to even understand it. Go ahead, type the comment, freak out at me. I get it. It kind of makes sense. I don't even really blame you for it, but for anyone capable of and open to understanding why this is so monumentally fucked, let's get started. First, we need to understand a relatively recent phenomenon known as meme coins. And to do that, at least properly, we have to talk about a website called pump.fun. Pump.fun is essentially a platform where you can take a meme, some sort of popular image or topic or whatever it happens to be, and launch a crypto token of that meme, which then gets traded publicly on peer-to-peer markets. It's basically gambling, but it's worse than gambling because it lacks enforcement, regulation, and fairness. Unlike traditional gambling, such as a Vegas casino, which has something called enforced RTP, which means return to player, meme coins are a veritable promised land of price manipulation and scamming. Think of it like this. If you go to a casino's roulette table, just as one example, you're facing a predetermined set of odds. Yes, you can lose money, but you're also not running the risk that the dealer might just, or not, there's no dealer at roulette, right? The person that throws the little ball, I guess. You're not running the risk that the employee that runs the table might just grab all the chips off of the table and then run away with them out the door. Even if they did that, the casino would remedy it, of course, and they'd face repercussions. So at the very least, with actual gambling, you have a preset agreement of the rules. For meme coin trading, that just doesn't exist. If you buy a meme coin, you have no idea what's going to happen. You could be buying something that will go up or down, similar to gambling, but you could also be buying something which is deliberately designed to steal all of your money because the person who made it is a literal 12-year-old child who reserved most of the token supply for himself and only did this in the first place so that he could dump those tokens on unsuspecting buyers. It's high-risk speculation, of course, but with an added minefield underneath where the entire premise, to its very core, is designed to enrich insiders, scammers, and early adopters. According to reports done by Dune Analytics, the vast majority of people who trade meme coins on Pump.fun lose their money. And yet the industry is often regarded by advocates as some sort of generational wealth opportunity, despite more accurately being a tool for simple redistribution of wealth. Meme coins, if nothing else, are a mechanism where insiders and bad actors are able to harvest profit from unsuspecting or particularly misled victims, and the people that launch these coins or tokens, especially those willing to deceive their audiences, are the ones who benefit the most. A lot of people out there have this kind of utopian concept of redistribution of wealth, where all the rich people's money gets filtered down to all the poor people. It's great, I get something for free. That is not what meme coin trading is. Meme coins are when all the poor people get told, buy this thing, and then the rich person that told them that runs away with all the cash, okay? That is meme coins. Well, understanding the hyped up but far more sinister reality of meme coin trading, we have to now turn and look at Donald Trump, who just 2 days before his presidential inauguration decided to launch a crypto meme coin called Trump, where only 10% of the token supply, according according to their own tokenomics, went to public distribution with an additional 10% for liquidity. All of the rest of this token supply went to creators and something called CIC Digital, where CIC Digital, according to a risk disclosure from the Kraken trading platform, is a direct affiliate of the Trump organization. Basically, insiders. Nearly all of the money in this token is allocated to insiders as the president, or about to be president, launches a meme coin. Now, some people are going to obviously take issue with this and say, well, it's a good thing that Trump is onboarding people into crypto, but no, okay? No, it isn't. On the official website, they explicitly allow the option for users to buy now with debit card because the main target here are his most loyal followers, most of whom don't have experience with decentralized finance, none whatsoever. These people are being onboarded into crypto in a sense, but they're being onboarded into a scam. The people buying this token with their debit cards, those are the people getting taken advantage of the most. This token does nothing. It has no purpose other than to enrich insiders. And the best way to actually demonstrate that is to explain that the entire vesting schedule for this token happens during Trump's presidency. By the end of his term, the tokens will have vested, unlocked, and likely been sold by everyone, all the insiders associated. And this allows the entire operation to not only dodge accountability by launching the scheme 2 days before his inauguration and concluding the scheme during his presidency, it also capitalizes on the hype cycle of his fan base to extract as much money as possible from their pockets. If you need a better demonstration of how this kind of token scheme works, look at this. Discovered by Bubble Maps, which is a blockchain analytics platform that I'm about to use later in the video for something else, there's a crypto wallet that was funded with $1 million, roughly, 4 hours before the Trump token launched, and then immediately bought in as soon as the token went live. After that, they sent the tokens to 6 other wallets and began sequentially dumping them on the community. So far, this one singular unknown person, or group, we don't know, who funded themselves 4 hours in advance and participated within seconds of the token launching, has made $20 million and was sitting on 96 million more at the time of making this. It is disgusting to watch the leader of the free world, who's already a billionaire, enrich himself and those around him, not with savvy business decisions or real estate development or innovative products even, but with a crypto scheme that directly preys on the most loyal people that support him. Because make no mistake, this is a zero-sum game, using a vehicle that has no purpose or intrinsic value of its own. For billions of dollars to be made by a few carefully chosen insiders, billions of dollars must be lost by the masses. It's honestly sick. Now, if anyone at this point is still pretending that everything's fine and there's nothing wrong with what's happening, let's kick it up a notch. One day after the launch of the Trump coin, which was 2 days before Trump's inauguration, a second token impacted the crypto ecosystem called Melania. Yes, Melania Trump, at least her official social media accounts anyway, one day before her husband's inauguration and one day after her husband had apparently executed his own crypto scheme, launched this, which is a website for a crypto scam, using a website domain name that was registered 1 day prior, except for Melania's crypto token, only 15% would go to the public. Once again, you could buy it with a debit card, and just to clarify something before I continue, we're talking about tens of billions of dollars total here between these tokens. At peak value, Trump's token was worth something like $70 billion in market cap, which quadrupled his paper net worth easily, by the way. And Melania's token was worth something like $13 billion, with an even shorter vesting period, which makes it even easier for the insiders involved with Melania's token to dump their holdings on the community. Here's the thing, in order to get the full picture right now, a picture that will obviously change somewhat in the coming weeks, because a crypto scheme this bad is completely unprecedented, really. In order to paint a full picture, I have to connect a few dots, starting with this, which is World Liberty Financial. World Liberty Financial, also known as WLFI because it's incorporated, is about as closely affiliated with Donald Trump's whole family as you can get, while still claiming on the website that it has nothing to do with them. Him and his 3 sons are ambassadors for the project, and right about the time that Melania Trump's social media accounts began launching her meme token, the World Liberty Financial multi-sig wallet apparently made a few interesting purchases of its own. Domain names, in fact. WorldLiberty.eth, TrumpCoin.eth, EricTrump.eth, and BaronTrump.eth. were all purchased right about the same time that the Melania token went active, and also about the same time that Trump himself retweeted her token launch. Why? Well, I can't say for certain, but what I can do is show you this. Right after the Melania crypto scam went live, once again showcased by Bubble Maps, there seemed to be a discrepancy between the supposed allocation breakdown listed on the website and the actual allocation of the tokens themselves. It seemed like 89% of the supply was sitting in a singular wallet, I guess. The thing is, after that fact was discovered, the tokens began moving, and the chart of top wallets holding the token right now, as I make the video, is very different. However, if we take a look at the current top holder of Melania token, we find this address right here, SGQWH7, which is supposedly the Melania treasury, which was intended to have 35% of supply. Well, it only has 30%. Pushing that aside, you can see that 300 million tokens, the ones that it now holds, were received a couple hours after launch from a wallet called Melania Liquidity. And if we jump over to that wallet, Melania Liquidity, we find that it's currently holding roughly $1 billion worth of official Baron meme tokens. These values, by the way, are fluctuating to the tune of billions on almost a minute-to-minute basis as the entire crypto market tries to figure out what the actual fuck is happening. But if we consider everything in context, I'd like to give my personal opinion about that. In my opinion, what's happening is that an entire billionaire family is openly scamming their followers now. The Trump token came first, followed after, very hastily, by the wife, and then a closely connected corporation called World Liberty Financial began securing domain names for possibly future tokens, each dedicated to one of the family members. Meanwhile, the same wallet holding billions worth of Melania's token as the supposed treasury is holding $1 billion worth of Baron token, because the whole thing is moving faster than anyone is ever able to keep up with. And again, purely my own speculation here. Someone somewhere is realizing, oh my God, we can get rich and make so much money doing this. It's not necessarily the Trumps, but it's people very closely connected to them, surrounding them in all of their circles, at the very least. As they've been trying to do as much of this as they possibly could, as fast as they could get it done, before Trump was officially the president. That's what I see. It wouldn't surprise me at all if we end up with more family member meme tokens from the Trumps at this rate, because when you're the president and you literally appoint the people in charge of prosecuting and regulating the asset class itself, it gets really easy to use that asset class for scamming your audience, which in my view is precisely what the Trump family has now done. And if not them, at least people in their close proximity who are doing it relentlessly. There's gonna be more, 100% there's gonna be more. Over time, the world of crypto scams just got infinitely worse. If you look at Pump.Fun, it's just a torrential downpour of more meme token scams because of this, right? Surrounding the Trumps and surrounding their family. It's like the whole ecosystem just got a jolt to the heart, a shock factor of like, dial up the scams. It just got way worse. But honestly, that's it for today. If you support the channel, check out the links down below. Special VPN deal, local to Patreon, merchandise, etc., etc. But I'll cut it there and stop right now. As always, thank you all for watching. Question everything, and have a nice night.
Confirms that what we just saw was indeed real. He was not doing a bit. I just can't figure out why he's carrying all this emotional baggage about the George Floyd joke. He says he'll offend anybody, that he doesn't care. But when he goes on podcasts, he brings a lawyer in tow who he has to get clearance from to make sure his jokes aren't too scary.
I'll never get along with David Lucas.
You won't get along with him, why not?
He did our podcast and he just said the dumbest shit ever.
What did he say?
He said that, 8 out of 10 women come when they are raped.
Uh-oh.
Me and Ian just lost our minds. We just roasted the shit out of him. And then he made us delete. He was like, yo, I talked to my lawyer and he said we shouldn't actually put that part in. And we were just like, then we're deleting the whole thing because that was the only funny part. Because he just sits there and says nothing.
This duality of David, it's just impossible to make sense of it. For us and for him. Calling yourself uncancelable and then apologizing.
Just want to apologize.
Championing free speech. Then getting offended about a bit. Maintaining this persona has to be exhausting. And so he walks around all day, desperately squeezing that stress ball, trying to balance these two completely irreconcilable aspects of his life. But it's impossible, so he's stuck. And deep down, he knows it. Oh, God, you know what I'm gonna say, don't you? Oh, that's bad. It is then revealed that David and his manager were made to think that they would receive $10,000 for this appearance. Matan then breaks the news that this was, in fact, a lie.
You told me 10,000 in the text message, bro.
David responds by sticking his hand into his own ass region, a vile crevasse. He then shoves that juiced-up ass hand into the face of this guy without consent, forcing him to partake in a whiff of his noxious butt stink. Forced to inhale the sweaty fecal vapors, which David finds absolutely hilarious. David then aggressively demands that Matan remove his clothing so that he can find out what he smells like.
I don't know, let's smell up under that jacket. Take that jacket off.
Demonstrating some of his cerebral comedy, David makes a brilliant guess that underneath his clothing, Matan is probably naked.
You're probably naked up under that bitch. Let's see.
Upon being denied consent, he then attempts to remove Matan's shirt, forcing Matan to physically protect himself.
No, it's not allowed.
But Matan is ready to strike back. He then asks David if he's related to YouTuber EDP445, aka Brian Moreland, an allegedly notorious content creator and an alleged predator who was allegedly caught trying to lure allegedly underage girls. Allegedly.
Are you related to EDP445?
Yeah.
You are related to him?
Yeah.
Because I actually...
Who is that?
Back in 2020, Moreland's alleged sickening text messages were exposed by a YouTuber who had been acting as an underage decoy, which Moreland fell for.
How about you call the cops? You call the cops. You want help? Call the cops. You should call the cops. Go ahead.
Moreland's response to this incriminating evidence was to post this bizarre video in which he eats loads of chicken and brags about having a gun. But David had never heard of any of this, so he had no idea where Matan was going with it. Ready to make another lethal strike, Matan then shows David a photo of this EDP guy.
That's when he got caught on a predator catch.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he's
good. They should beat his ass.
What about you?
I don't do shit like that. I got kids.
By revealing how much this question bothered him, David makes a brutal mistake. Matan is going to sit on that intel for a moment and use it in a devastating attack, causing David's second ego crack.
You got a dragon in your garage.
I can't even be a predator if that's what you're alluding to.
No, Game of Thrones. What are you talking about, bro? What are you talking about?
I thought you were trying to...
You on some weird shit.
Be a predator.
I'm not a predator.
Oh, for sure?
Skip the question, bro. We ain't even finna entertain that bullshit you talking about.
So David just got done saying he'd offend anyone. But the first and only guy to get offended in this interview is David himself. David Lucas, the uncancelable, the I'll offend everyone guy. Just got majorly offended by this joke. This is what I call a bad look. And he stops Matan in his tracks, demanding that he not say such a thing. Which is odd, given David's philosophy on comedy and free speech.
Who are we as the gatekeepers to say when a joke goes too far? Is it because I'm not famous? It's all in the name of laughter, all in the name of free speech.
But when the ego gets cracked this badly, the mind loses its grip on rationality. And over time, these jabs cause immense damage to the mind. It's a psychic form of CTE.
Skip the question, bro. We ain't even finna entertain that bullshit you talking about right now, because I got children, and that's a very sensitive topic.
I'm an advocate for free speech. The great Patrice O'Neal said that a funny joke and a bad joke come from the same place. So that was my attempt at comedy. It was to get shock value. I'm a troll.
Skip the question, bro. We ain't even finna entertain that bullshit you talking about right now.
Again, this is a bad look. But then luckily for David, the backdrop suddenly falls down, providing a wonderful distraction to this tense situation. But for some reason, he just doesn't take advantage of it. And when this guy gets up on a chair to fix the backdrop, David's eyes lock onto his ass like a heat-seeking missile.
Yeah, look at that booty.
He then begins laughing maniacally as his ego is rapidly losing its composure on account of those two big cracks it's now sustained. David then turns to one of the most popular copes of the day, the phone hand. It's something we all do when we don't know what to do with our eyes or our face or our hands. We reach into our pocket and pull out that phone. You stare at it and pretend something important is going on, and you avoid having to even think about the real world. It's the easiest way to opt out of any social expectations. You just slip away into an alternate dimension where real life doesn't matter, and you can relieve yourself of this problem you have with trying to act like a normal guy. But David is so bamboozled already that he can't even manage the phone hand cope, and he just starts juggling these two phones around like it's a circus act, erratically scrolling through them in silence, for no reason. He puts the phone down eventually, but is unable to resist the sweet relief of that phone hand cope. And within seconds, he's back to it, connecting again to the serenity found in that alternate dimension, thanks to our wonderful modern technology. Now, despite how strange this whole encounter has been thus far, what happens next is truly unexplainable. Matan makes a joke about David's manager who's just off camera, to which he responds with this. David then makes this shocking remark out of nowhere, suggesting that not only does he have a gun in his bag, he also has some sort of sex toy.
Oh yeah, the sex toy? Oh yeah, I got it. About to have some fun.
Sex toy?
We're about to have some fun.
I mean, I can't believe what we're watching here. Can you? Now, out of curiosity and a moral obligation to perform proper journalism, we began an investigation into what this David Lucas sex toy could possibly be about. And right away, we discovered that a simple Google search leads you to this. The 11-inch king cock flesh-toned, squirting cock with balls, for which someone by the name of David Lucas has left a glowing review. Oh, looks like it's back to that phone hand cope. Oh, that's bad. But actually, it's not what you think, because David then turns the phone to show Matan an image of something.
What do you think about this?
Why are you showing me that? That's extremely weird. Show that to me.
So what did David show Matan?
That's the best of both worlds.
We can't know for certain, but we can examine the evidence before us and make an educated triple-digit IQ hypothesis. Based on David's comment, it seems that he is showing him some type of a sexually explicit image depicting a trans person.
That's the best of both worlds.
Moments later, he does it again, and Matan confirms that indeed he's being forced to view sexual imagery.
What is this? You keep showing me like a...
But believe it or not, the situation doesn't stop there. It just keeps escalating.
You on TikTok?
I'm on TikTok. I have an account.
You ever did Grindr?
And it's just in time for the third mind crack to occur. David tries to get out of this horrendous hole he's dug for himself by changing his attitude and trying to riff on some jokes, making fun of the set.
I feel like y'all could spend some more money on the fucking...
This is an awesome set.
But Matan is unfazed, and he effortlessly returns fire.
You have a podcast, right? Yeah, but yours is even less money on the set. You just film in the lake.
In the lake.
Well, that's three major cracks, and David's ego is now completely in meltdown mode. With no moves left, David downgrades from his usual middle school level jokes to something you'd expect from an attention-starved brat in grade 2.
In the lake.
With the fishing?
Fishing.
Correct.
250?
Oh.
200. With the ego overwhelmed and spiraling, David begins regressing as his id, the ancient primitive part of his brain, is finally allowed to take control. He throws a tantrum and begins destroying the set.
I'm about to fart in this nigga face.
Spilling drinks all over the place.
Why?
Aggressively posturing toward Matan, who again is just a boy of 17 years.
Sit down.
Put it down. Put it down.
Sit down.
Alternating between laughing like a lunatic assaulting this boy.
Scratch the ass so you can smell it. Slap it in your face.
Whatever this is.
Get real nice and close like we're in prison. Sit that little pale booty down.
She's like 20.
Kinda cute.
Me? You're saying this?
Look, you're older than 17.
I promise I'm 17. Watch out. Don't touch me, man. What are you doing?
Let me rub your back.
You're touching on me.
Staring off into space. Before smashing a cinder block through a table. I don't know if this is David's attempt at pulling off something like what Sam Hyde did a few months ago on this show when he caused chaos by bringing all these Indian guys onto the set. But if it is, then I just don't know if it worked.
My jokes are very cerebral. So if you come to my show, I might say a lot of crazy shit, but on your drive home, you're gonna be thinking a lot.
I forgot about the cerebral.
I'm a very calculated and very cerebral person.
I mean, Well, maybe it did work, actually. It's possible we have him all wrong, guys, because I walked away from this interview incredibly disturbed, just haunted by the experience, and definitely thanking a lot. Is this what David intended? And if so, what does it say about me to have this reaction to it?
That's all I'm fighting for, free speech. When I'm on that stage, I'm the court jester. Yeah. I'm there to dictate your emotions. I'm a dictator at that point. That's all we're fighting for is free speech. That's all we want. All us comedians, that's all we want. We want the opportunity to try to be funny. Whether it's funny or not is left up to the reception of the audience. That's all we're asking for. It's not that hard. When you're watching a comedian on stage, turn your emotional ears off. I do.
Are you a predator?
I'm not a predator.
No, for sure?
Skip the question, bro. We ain't even finna entertain that bullshit you talking about right now.
Well, like I said, I certainly am thinking a lot. I'm thinking about how weird it is that this guy gets compared to Patrice O'Neal. I just don't understand. I don't know if people are aware that Patrice was more than just a fat black guy, because that's pretty much where any similarity between them ends. Patrice was quick, he had jokes, he could tell stories, he could decimate a heckler. Maybe he sucks, I don't know, whatever, he was functional. Is that too much to expect?
You two do nothing but ruin everybody's good fucking time. Nobody likes you, even though you're quite lovely, but it's like you're more annoying than you're gorgeous.
That is a far cry from this.
Man, come on stage, nigga.
Ain't no room.
He's scary. That's his last heckle. The next one get him kicked out if he don't come on stage.
I'm afraid that Harlan Williams really broke this guy. Because now, to avoid being embarrassed on stage, David has begun resorting to roasting people that aren't even there to roast him back. He went in on this comedian Jacob Barr during a recent Kill Tony show, making jokes about his disability, but not before making sure that Jacob was off stage and unable to respond.
When you birth a child with no asshole and fucking pterodactyl arms, you're supposed to put that nigga on the grill. He ain't even supposed to live. Bro, he's not a productive member to society.
Well, this joke did not go over well with the Kill Tony crowd, and now David's losing whatever fans he's got left. And while Jacob wasn't afforded the opportunity to respond to David during that episode, he completely destroyed him online.
Here's 5 things I can do that David Lucas can. Let's start off the day with some light jumping. Let's try writing jokes in a joke notebook. Finally, let's take some comfortable deep breaths and take in the fact that I will live longer than him by 25 years.
He is losing it, man. And I'm sure it doesn't help David stress that our critique of his special now has more views than the special itself. I'm sorry about that, my guy. So it goes. I can't stop thinking about all of it. And it's David who's making me do all that thinking. And in my opinion, that is the definition of a true artist. So thank you, David. I get it now. You're a genius. And to everyone upset in the comments on the last video saying it was mean to say those things about David.
Yeah, some people say it's mean, but I think that roasting is lighthearted, even if I call you a bitch or ugly or some other derogatory word, you know what I'm saying?
All right, thanks for watching our David Lucas trilogy. What does it all mean? I don't know. But I pray to never have to do a thing about this guy ever again. And I shouldn't have to, because now that David's been caught, next comes his sentencing, and this will be his worst nightmare come to life. Being demoted to a civilian. The ultimate comedy punishment.
He gets his inheritance this afternoon. That's why we're moving. We're gonna pay all our bills off that we need to pay off, and then take a long vacation.
Less than 24 hours from this footage, Ina Thea-Kanoyer's husband, Steve Riley, was life-flighted to the hospital due to a sudden sickness that immobilized his body. Within an hour of being at the hospital, he would pass away.
I thought everybody knew. Sorry.
Oh my God!
What the cop doesn't realize at this time is that Ina is a very good actor, and she knows far more about Steve's sickness than she leads on. You see, Steve was less than an hour away from cashing in a $37 million inheritance payment when he became fatally ill. And And as the multi-week investigation would progress, detectives would quickly discover that Steve's death was due to poisoning. Someone had killed him, and everyone close to Steve all had dire needs to claim his newfound fortune by any means necessary.
It was like 20-something million. Best thing you can do is to get on a plane and don't look back.
Police department. It's the police department. It's not Chad.
This body cam was recorded the night before Steve Riley's death. Steve and Ina's drunken neighbor had been harassing them and other residents of the neighborhood, so Ina called 911 to de-escalate the situation. What makes this specific footage interesting is not the situation with their drunken neighbor, but rather what Ina would tell police after her $37 million inheritance fund that she's just hours away from cashing in.
Hi. You thought it was Chad?
Yeah.
Who was Chad?
Trying to kick in everybody's door.
Who was he out here?
Busted to my light. Look at the garbage can.
Who was he fighting with out here?
My fiance went for a walk. Cool down.
Who's your fiance?
Steve Riley.
Steve Riley?
Yeah.
Okay. What's your name?
I'm Ina.
Okay. Is your fiance hurt at all?
He got gash on his forehead.
Okay. You know, we just want to talk with him too, just to make sure he's all right if possible. There's blood all the way over there. That's good. So what actually happened tonight? What were they fighting over?
Chad was trying to kick in the door.
Just for no reason, or just?
Just drunk. He does that.
Where do you think your fiance would have went so we could just get his side of the story real quick?
Oh, I don't know.
So you got a phone on?
No, we don't have a phone until this afternoon.
But this is where Ina reveals something she shouldn't have. Their plans to pay off all of their bills, which had over the years been racking up. And she does this for one reason, to brag.
He gets his inheritance this afternoon. That's why we're moving. We're gonna pay all our bills off that we need to pay off. His lawyer gets here today at 2 to sign the paperwork for his money.
Okay.
And then he's gonna go pay that, and his lawyer pay the rest of his child support, and then take a long vacation.
According to Ina, Steve is set to receive an inheritance from his late uncle tomorrow, which supposedly is enough money to turn their lives around completely. What police don't realize at this time is how enormous this inheritance sum really is.
Take it A.
In 2016, Steve's friend had received a call from a man named Marcus Riley, who claimed to be Steve's long-lost uncle from Ireland. It explained that he finally wanted to get in touch with his nephew, Steve. After connecting with each other, Steve had learned he was in line to receive an inheritance upon his uncle's passing, which was a sum of over $17 million at the time. This was enough to permanently fix the financial struggles he and Ina had been dealing with. A couple of years later, 4 months prior to the footage you just watched, Steve would learn of his uncle's passing from a British lawyer who had contacted him. Additionally, he would learn that his $17 million inheritance had grown to over $30 million due to his uncle's successful investments over the years. That's why Ina cannot hold herself from boasting to the police. Tomorrow, they plan to meet with their lawyer to officially sign the documents and claim the $30 million inheritance fund. The two plan to take the money and live with Steve's long-lost family in Ireland, quote, living in the castles. In less than 24 hours, Ina will be rich. So as officers leave for the night, Ina would make one final statement about how her life was about to change forever.
If you want to step back inside, and then if Steve shows back up, we're going to try to look for him to get his side of the story as well. But if Steve shows back up, if you just want to give us a call or have him give us a call, we'll talk to him then, okay?
Yeah, he's going to stop by anyways, like I said.
Sounds good.
I've only been able to put like $5 on his fines, but at least it was something.
Okay, sounds good.
We're going to pay it all off all at once.
Perfect, thank you.
Steve would return to his and Ina's apartment that night, and the two would patiently wait, not being able to sleep, as they counted down the hours until they would receive their millions. The plan to receive the funds was simple. At 2 p.m., the group would go to the airport to meet their lawyer, who was flying in with their inheritance paperwork. Ina and Steve obliged and would arrive at the airport alongside their two friends, Billy and Wes, before patiently waiting. However, while they were waiting for the lawyer's arrival, Steve would become extremely sick. He would claim feeling drunk, even throwing up in the airport bathrooms. His heart rate was rapidly increasing, and his condition worsened to the point where Wes decided to take him home to help him treat his sickness. Ina would wait at the airport for the lawyer to arrive. However, he would never show up. And after a couple of hours with no lawyer, no money, and a sick fiancé, she would return home as well. Everyone believed that Steve had suffered from a heat stroke as a result of working on his truck for hours that morning. But Steve's symptoms were far more fatal than the heat strokes he had received in the past, even experiencing fatal signs of kidney failure throughout the night. And in the morning, Steve would become completely unresponsive, forcing Ina to call 911.
911, what's the address of your emergency? My husband's really sick. He got heat stroke yesterday, and now he's not waking up. And come on, wake up! What's the phone number you're calling from? I don't have a phone number. It's a phone that never got finished getting set up. Come on, babe! I've been trying everything. Ice, water.
Okay, but he is breathing?
Yes. He's snoring. He won't talk to me anymore. He won't look at me. He won't open his eyes.
Okay, hey! I've got help on the way. Just keep an eye on his breathing. And if anything changes with his breathing, tell me immediately.
Hello? Yeah. It's Officer Sullivan, Minot PD.
Yeah, hang on.
Inside the home, officers would find Steve fully unresponsive. They would drag him out of the house through piles of trash and filth. Quickly, he was rushed to the nearest hospital, but with his condition so poor, he would be flown to the St. Alexis Hospital to undergo more professional treatment. But before we get to that, I want to help you protect yourself and your family from something that can ruin your life: identity theft. Aura, the sponsor of today's video, helps protect you and your loved ones against exactly that. Have you ever Googled yourself, a family member, or a loved one? If so, you've probably been shocked by how much information is out there. This is not even mentioning what companies, data brokers, and scammers might know about you. In 2024, during the National Public Data Breach, a friend of mine's name and social security number got leaked, which could have allowed malicious people to open credit cards and take out loans in his name. Luckily, he caught it in time and could take precautions, but over 2.9 billion records were stolen in that data breach, and many of those people involved don't even realize their information is out there. Aura will help you take those precautions today by removing your personal information from data brokers and people search sites that can sell your info to identity thieves, scammers, and much more. I'm not leaving myself and my family vulnerable to data breaches and brokers, and if you don't want to either, you can go to www.aura.com/DrInsanity to try 2 weeks for free. Enough time for Aura to find out if any of your personal data is exposed. After Steve was flown to the hospital, Ina would explain to the officers that Steve had gotten a heat stroke, which caused his illness. The officers had no reason not to believe her story, so they would comfort her throughout the day as Steve was being treated. Unfortunately, Steve would never again regain consciousness. This is Billy Burkhead, Steve and Ina's neighbor, and he was with Steve and Ina the entire day of his sudden sickness, even working on the truck with Steve and traveling with them to the airport. Billy simply refused to believe that Steve's death was caused by heat stroke, especially since Steve seemed perfectly fine all day until they reached the airport. Instead, Billy suspected something far more sinister and wanted to share his theory with the detectives. So, the day after Steve's death, Billy would call officers back to apartment 912A to detail his side of the story.
We found 2 points in this. Oh, I'm almost sure she poisoned it.
So what's your plan right now?
We're making sure nothing goes. Because you know when they go to jail, they die.
Well, how long are you going to stay?
Stay here till the sun gets here.
When's the sun supposed to get here?
He's dead. And he was poisoned.
Billy's explanation for Steve's death is, well, horrifying. If Ina truly did poison Steve, then his symptoms would make sense and would add up far more than the idea of him having a heat stroke. However, why would Ina want to poison her husband if they were about to live such a good life? Well, Billy seems to have the exact answer to that question.
The other day, she threw all the stuff out the yard.
From his house?
Yeah, and he come out and he was holding his head down. And then we're supposed to go up to the airport and meet this guy because he's supposed to get quite a bit of money. Come back, we had to help him out of the car, had to help him in the house. And everything was fine until he come home. And then the next morning, she's throwing all this stuff out. She was supposed to call the ambulance. She never called the ambulance.
Billy thinks that Ina was secretly planning to split with Steve after the inheritance was received, even going so far as to throw his belongings out of the house after they returned from the airport. Even worse is that Ina lied about getting help for Steve after they returned from the airport, pretending to take him to get treated when in reality, they never left the house. Unfortunately, Ina overheard all of this talk and decided to give Billy a piece of her own mind.
I'm taking off. I'm not working. My husband's dead or alive.
Hey, stay out here. Hey, stay out here.
I need to take a picture.
Picture of what?
What's that?
Oh, you can sit over here.
Steve collapsed yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Went to the hospital. Found out he was poisoned.
How'd you find that out?
He told me. I'm just telling your son, don't ever stop that. They're nasty people. They're nasty.
Ina coincidentally seemed to put the blame on the neighbors, calling them evil people. It's become more clear that Steve's death was far more sinister than officers had first expected. Officers now had a potential homicide case to investigate, but as they went to leave, one officer accidentally broke the news to Ina that her fiancé had passed away.
I thought everybody knew. I'm sorry. I guess the son is on his way here. Okay. Apparently the son is on the way here. So.
Your son better put them on.
Ina's reaction to her husband's passing is one of the strangest I've ever seen. She starts bawling her eyes out, then suddenly jumps right back to her normal self, as if she hadn't even heard the terrible news to begin with. It's becoming more and more clear that something is not adding up. Billy was not the only person to initially put the blame on Ina. In fact, he was only one of many who would come forward with their concerns. In fact, Billy's wife, Lynn, had stated that Ina had made horrifying statements in the past, alluding that if she was to ever kill her partner, she would poison him using an antifreeze. To add to the pile of already incriminating information, Steve would be tested for ethylene glycol in his bloodstream, a key ingredient in antifreeze. To nobody's surprise, the results showed toxic levels of ethylene glycol in his system. This information would serve as the catalyst for initiating a formal homicide investigation into the death of Steve Riley. Following the commencement of the investigation, a series of intensive interrogations would be conducted with all parties connected to the incident, including Ina, to ultimately solve Steve's murder. However, before that, Ina would launch a plan of her own. It must have been made apparent to her that she was in hot water, as the day after this encounter with the police, she would call them back to apartment 912A to explain theories of her own.
Hi. Okay, what's going on?
I don't know.
We've been here.
He keeps trying to take Steve's truck.
Where's the truck at?
In the garage.
Is this the paperwork on the thing? Or?
No. This is property that Steve was buying after his inheritance got here. I think he left it to his son, but I had to Google where to go to get his inheritance switched over to the people he left it to. I don't know. The day he was supposed to meet his lawyer, apparently, I thought it was heat stroke. Apparently he was poisoned. I'm finding out with antifreeze.
All right.
And I don't know how to get a hold of the guy in London with his inheritance. He should be here in town. He never showed up at the airport, of course. Trying to figure out why.
Ina seems to conspire to the idea that Steve may have drank the antifreeze himself, or that someone may have poisoned him. However, despite all the suspicion being thrown her way, she can only stay on track for minutes before going back on tangents about her inheritance fund. It was clear at this point that somebody had poisoned Steve. The idea of this being self-inflicted was unlikely, as Steve had a life-changing amount of money waiting for him and would have had to drink the antifreeze just hours before going to claim the cash. Clearly, Ina can be made out as the lead suspect due to the amount of fingers being pointed her way, but the other potential suspects should not be ruled out either. With this in mind, officers would bring their first suspect in for questioning, Rebecca. Rebecca was another neighbor of Ina and Steve's who was very involved with the entire case so far, pitching her opinion to police whenever she could. Rebecca was brought in primarily to add to the pile of evidence to confront Ina with later, but as the interview would continue, strange red flags would arise from Rebecca's odd personality.
You guys know my daughter?
Yeah, how's she doing?
Yesterday, God works so mysteriously. She was arrested, released. She said, this is the demons that are in her, the spirits that follow her, was able to change her butt cheeks. So maybe they'll stop following her now, she said. I pray she does.
Starting off a homicide interview explaining how demons left your daughter's butt is an interesting way of proving your innocence. But the detective isn't here to judge, rather, to get to the bottom of Steve's death. So he'll ignore these strange remarks.
I'm a nosy neighbor.
Good. I like it.
Well, I know what cars belong, what cars don't, who lives in my neighborhood, who doesn't.
Yeah.
So yes.
That's good. We're investigating Steve's passing just because it sounds like maybe there's something.
Yeah, I suspicious of all I know, whatever I know.
How long have Steve and Ina lived there that you know of?
Approximately 2 years.
Okay. How was their relationship that you know?
The first year was, Steve was looking great, doing great. The past year, I don't know if she suffers from mental illness at times, but her mental state went downhill the past year. When you lose weight, when you're not acting right, shady stuff going on, you're not working. Yes, he was. And it got worse the past couple months.
It seems as though Steve's life wasn't as straightforward as initially thought, having drug issues, weight loss, and possibly depression. Whether or not Ina was a large contributor to these deteriorating issues is something they will soon learn, as this interview would become a pivotal piece of evidence, laying the groundwork to dismantle her defense entirely during the interrogation.
And it got worse the past couple months.
You think lately? Is that the
Probably.
whatever? Okay.
Yes.
What do you think she was using?
Yeah.
Okay.
And alcohol use too.
Okay.
Yes.
Both of them use
Yes.
alcohol? Okay. So Steve had mentioned before, like in the past, about getting money.
Yes.
How many, like?
2 million.
The amount Steve had planned to receive was something he kept very secret, often lying to people like Rebecca on how much he was actually getting. As we'll soon find out, this number was much, much larger than $2 million.
When his uncle passed away, yes. First, he said he was going to leave it to Ina, and then they were fighting, and a couple months later, he said he went back and changed the will. He told me, he was like, don't tell Ina, but I changed it.
This statement from Rebecca would explain what Ina was talking about last time she spoke to police, and how she was trying to switch the will over from Steve's son to herself. If Ina discovered his plan, it would have given her a strong incentive to do whatever it took to change the will back in her favor, possibly by any means necessary.
Because it started 5 months, and he told me, yeah, I got a will, I'm leaving everything to Ina if something happens. And then it seemed like 2 months after that, he's like, yeah, because she's a bitch. He said.
So that was Steve.
Yeah, that's how Steve, yeah.
Was he ever talking about leaving Ina?
Yes.
Okay.
You know, I'm going to get this money and leave her, get my own place, so go back to California.
Okay.
I met her son.
Oh, okay. Her son?
I'm sorry, his son. Steve's son.
Yeah.
Well,
that's okay.
He flew in. He came up to my apartment. But as he's leaving, she came up, knocked on my door.
When he was up there?
Yeah,
okay.
to get him. I think she was nervous. It was like she was pissed he was up there. And then she's like, I just want to let you know I found the will papers.
So she said in front of you that she found will papers?
Yes. Yep.
Ina clearly had become obsessed with the idea that she was about to live the life of her dreams with Steve's inheritance. But after rumors of Steve leaving her, it seems Ina became terrified that she might not receive the funds and would be stuck with her depressive living conditions. It's now become obvious how these events and Steve's strange death could be correlated to one another. However, as Rebecca had stated herself, she was a nosy neighbor, looking for any rumors or conspiracy theories to help solve the neighborhood drama. I've also cut out over 40 minutes of completely false information Rebecca gave to detectives, which certainly doesn't add to her authenticity. In order to further confirm the accuracy of these claims, 2 more reliable sources would be brought in the following day: Steve's son Ryan and Billy Burkhead. If anyone would be able to give proper insight into Steve's life, it would be these 2, as they were by far the closest people to Steve.
We're assigned the case of your dad's passing. You're really the only next of kin that maybe had a relationship with your dad, it sounds like?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you ever talk to your buddy when you guys talked to him while he was here?
Yeah. He was talking about how he was getting a large sum of money, and he kind of just wanted to leave her because she didn't really have a job and was like reaching out for them.
Did Steve ever talk about leaving, you know?
All the time, every day. She talked about poisoning Steve and me because we're always together, but she didn't like that. And I don't know how much it was. It's supposed to be, it's way up there in the money. It was like 20-something million. Best thing you can do is get on the plane and don't look back.
Yeah.
That's the best thing you can do.
Almost every piece of information the detectives receive leads straight to Ina as the killer. It also makes sense why Ina hated Billy and Steve's son so much, as they knew far more information than she would have liked about the inheritance and her schemes to obtain it. These interviews wouldn't last long, as detectives got all the information they needed from the 2 and could directly confront Ina with it. But before leaving, they would break disturbing news to Ryan, which would make this case even more of a terrible tragedy.
So this inheritance now, thinking the same thing we're thinking, which, I mean, I know, obviously I'm sure, but by all accounts looking at it, it looks like it's a scam. Looks like it's a, I mean, the letter has different fonts in it and things, and so, and the fact that your dad had gone there several times since, and or never showed up to the airport.
That and all the emails that they tried to send back to the sender of those emails, it always came back unblocked.
The inheritance was a scam. Steve had lived for the past 7 years under the impression that if he just patiently waited, living through his terrible living conditions, he would come out with more money than he could dream of and finally enjoy life. Even worse was that this very scam that stagnated his life for years may have been the cause of his very own death. With such a pity of a case, detectives would go on to interview a handful of other suspects in order to get as much information as they possibly could to help break down Ina's defense. And after multiple days of interviews, the day finally came to confront Ina with everything they've gathered. But despite all this evidence against her, officers knew they would have a hard time prosecuting Ina without a confession or incriminating statements. And that's exactly what they were determined to get. Inside this cut-down 1.5-hour interview, you'll see some of the most clever interrogation tactics I've ever shown on this channel, slowly dismantling Ina's story until all she has left is an incoherent string of lies.
So, like I said, we had been just talking to everyone, like Billy, Russ, everybody that kind of just knew Steve, just to get an idea of like what was going on in his life. So, you and Steve were in a relationship?
Yep.
Okay, how long had you guys been together?
13 years.
Okay. Where did you guys meet?
Homeless shelter.
In
buffet dinner.
In North Dakota? Or
Washington.
In Washington, okay.
The detectives would go on to get more information about Ina and Steve's early relationship, but it wouldn't last long before Ina would start conspiring against Billy and others she wanted to paint as suspects.
And I begged him to, stay away from him. We've even gotten into fights.
To stay away from Lynn?
Billy and Lynn.
Okay.
I don't like calling people nasty. And they've seen them worse than Steve because he's tall and mean looking. People were intimidated by him.
Okay.
Just by his look.
So why would you want him to stay away from Billy and Lynn?
Because they're really, really nasty people.
Okay.
Felonies, breaking into places.
Okay.
I knew they did more than pot, smoking more than pot.
Did Steve smoke more than marijuana?
No, he's allergic to marijuana.
Okay.
Me.
Did he use other drugs?
Not for the longest time.
Was he using?
No.
Okay. So
no.
He didn't.
After that, after he got the max the last time.
Yep.
He's like, screw this. Okay. I'm gonna just do what I want and want what I want.
Okay. So that's when he started using?
I think so.
Okay.
This would be the first of Ina's lies during this interrogation. She knew Steve had been using long before the incident she described, but in order to make Billy seem like the villain in their lives, she wanted to make it seem as though he was the reason for Steve's drug use. Take note of Ina's body language while she clearly lies. She glances up and avoids eye contact, constantly fidgets and scratches her skin, and most notably, stutters and slurs on her speech as she tries to make up a story. Keep this in mind for the rest of the interrogation, and you'll be able to accurately point out when Ina